Okay, so a lot of stuff to get to this week. I'm your host, Leo Peters. This is the Kayfabe Is Dead podcast, and let's just get right to it. Roll the thing. Roll it. Roll it now. Okay, I'm just gonna start off right with Raw. It started with Enzo and Cass, and they did like a thing that they normally do. You guys have them start it last week, and it just didn't work. I don't think it's working. You guys have a lot of other talent. You guys have the New Day there, and you guys started it with Enzo and Cass. Like, what are you doing? The New Day is on Raw. You guys know who else is on Raw, right? Like, it's not just Enzo and Cass. I get that you're trying to push them, but you can't push them every week when you have a diverse roster. You can't just say, hey, let's try and push these guys so hard that everybody will love them, because that never works. You guys never pushed the New Day, and then they just got over. You guys have to realize this. I'm not the only one realizing this, right? I'm not crazy, right? Man. And then Jericho came out, which is, let me bring this up again. I brought it up last week, but let me do it again. Get stupid idiot shirts, because I want one. Everybody wants one. Like, how could you not have one? It's getting to the point where it's like you guys don't want to make money or something. It's just like, hey, let's not make shirts based off one of the biggest things we've had. It's a stupid gimmick, but you've made shirts for multiple stupid gimmicks. You made shirts for the Social Outcasts, and they came out like 4 times. Make a stupid idiot shirt with Jericho's name on it. And while we're talking about Jericho, let's talk about his facial hair, because I've never seen anything that looked that dumb. Like, have you ever had facial hair like that? Like, you can't grow goatee out of nowhere. And then wearing the scarf, and then they had to make these like weird homosexual remarks towards you, and then, like, is that part of the gimmick? Did they just tell you, go out there and go out there and grow a beard and wear a scarf, and then we'll make fun of you for it, and that'll be your gimmick? Like, whoa, whose idea was that? That doesn't make any sense at all. It just seems weird. I love the stupid idiot thing you're doing. You're working with what you have, and I think that's why you're a good person on the mic. You always have these weird gimmicks, and then you always like get over on them, and I think that's why everybody likes you so much. But I mean, I'm not the biggest fan, but a lot of people like you, so you're doing something right? And then we had another Braun Strowman squash. Like, I get it. The dude's big. He's strong. Big Show's getting old. Mark Henry's getting old. We don't want to push these guys. Let's make a new one. But it just seems like you guys are just working with nothing. You guys split up the Wyatt family. And the only reason I could assume you were doing that is maybe to have them fight another group that is there. Hint, hint. The club. But on both shows. So that's the only thing that I can think of that you guys are doing. Titus O'Neil and Darren Young are still doing this weird, you're not my friend anymore, but not really saying they're not friends anymore because of that. They're kind of doing this thing where Titus O'Neil comes in and does this thing, and then Darren Young kind of gets mad at it. Like, you don't talk about my coach like that. Like, what? You don't talk about Bob Backlund like that? Well, if Bob Backlund had a problem with that problem his entire life, you think somebody else would have done it. It just seems like a story that you've tacked on. Like, hey, we'll put these two people together. We'll put Bob Backlund and Darren Young, and then kind of make fun of Trump, and then we'll just figure everything out after. We'll just do everything else after. Guys, it just seems like you guys aren't planning anything ahead. I mean, I like it. I still think it's funny. It's it. It was funny when he won the Intercontinental title match, because he kind of did this thing where he was like, where he won, but he didn't win, and I thought that was great. But it just seems tacked on. It seems like you guys didn't have an opponent for him, so you stuck him with Titus O'Neil. I know I talked about that last week, and so I'm not going to get too more further in that. But then Seth Rollins came out and did a promo, which was fantastic. As always, he's the best guy you have on the mic over there. Honestly, he is. He's so over, I think. I mean, I like him. I love the guy. But I don't know if anybody else does, because they are just. I know people boo them, but people boo heels all the time, so you can never tell. But yeah, it just keep doing what he's doing. I would throw, I don't know, that thing he's doing where he's kind of whiny now. It just seems like tacked on too, and he seems like he's been doing it. And I thought, hey, maybe they'll change it when he comes back after his leg injury, and you guys didn't. Like, he's not even with the Authority. He's kind of just by himself. He's your guy's top heel. I mean, besides AJ Styles, I guess. But so it just seems weird. You know, AJ Styles is an awesome wrestler, but I'll get to that later. Hold up. I'm getting ahead of myself. And then you guys have Neville fighting the Dudleys, or Cesaro and Sheamus. Cesaro and Sheamus. Man, those are hard names. Cesaro and Sheamus fought each other. It was not the best match. I don't know. It's like that match didn't seem like it belonged there. I know you guys want to push certain people, and it seems like you guys want to push Cesaro, but at the same time you don't want to push Cesaro. Like, he's the fan favorite or something, but you guys hate him. I don't know, but it just seems weird that you guys are doing this, because Sheamus had to. Yeah, he was in the top before, but he's not the top now. He's not that he can't just stay at the top. And even when he fought Reigns, that just felt like it was nothing. So I don't know why you guys push Cesaro harder, but leave Sheamus to go back down to the middle. It just seems like he is the middle, but Cesaro should be higher. Owens too is probably he's a good heel. He's a good talker. But you guys have him paired with Jericho this week too. Why? He easily. I get that you guys want to have him and Jericho be friends and then fight Enzo and Cass. Because you don't want to give them a title shot, but you don't want them to lose their steam. I get that, and it makes sense. It's great. It's good writing when you're in a pinch, but you guys shouldn't be in this pinch. That's what I'm saying. So it just seems weird, you know. And then you have them come out at the end. Rusev at the end of that came out again after this segment with him and Lana, where Reigns, you know, talked some stuff, and then Reigns came out and was like, which was like, you guys are trying to push him with a different gimmick now, and that just seems weird. But it's working, I think. It just seems like you want to do something different that you're not doing. It seems like there is this, I don't know what I'm trying to say, but it just seems like you guys are trying to do something with Roman Reigns, but it's not clicking either with me, or it's not clicking with you guys. It's not clicking somewhere. It just seems weird that you guys are doing this whole thing with him and Rusev for the title, and then you guys are pushing it, like, not with matches, because that Rusev Cesaro match at the very end of the show, where they had that title match for the U.S. title, that was a good match. That should have been the match in the main show. That should have been in the middle. That should have been your 2-hour highlight, your main event, something. I guess it technically was your main event, but it just seemed like you guys were trying to surprise everybody with a last minute match, and then it just fell to the wayside like that. It just seemed weird, you know. It just seemed like it didn't really come together how you wanted it to, or maybe you guys decided to have it last second, or. But that match was fantastic. Both of those guys were crazy, man. That was a good match. I'm gonna move on to SmackDown, but I'll come back to that match in a minute. Um, so SmackDown, Bray Wyatt started it off. Dean Ambrose came out. Ziggler came out. They did this weird talking thing. Oh, you're not the best. Blah blah blah. Normal stuff. But it was good. But I feel like Bray's in there for no reason now. Like he's in the story. Are you guys gonna make it a triple threat, or are you just having Bray out there so that they can fight someone? I'm not entirely sure what's going on there. But that match last week between Ziggler and Bray was pretty good too. I wasn't sure who would win that one, and that was really good. Um, then American Alpha came out, and they had their tag match with like a squash match with random people, and then the other tag teams came out like ringside while they were doing it. So it was the Vaudevillains, the Ascension, and the HiBros. But and then they kind of all just got into the ring after, and then started fighting. And the reason I'm thinking that they're doing this is obviously for new tag team titles. I don't think they've explicitly said that's what it is, but I think we're all pretty sure that that's what it is. You know, I don't know what else it could be. Why would you have all of the tag teams come out there? I'm assuming that it's either going to be a 4-way, or next week we're going to have sign of a match to determine who is going to come close to winning it or will win it at SummerSlam, and I'll get to that next week after we see what's going on right before. Now, let's talk about the HiBros for half a second. Zack Ryder, you guys stopped pushing him and then just, like, put him back in with the tag team he was in NXT. You guys started pushing him for every single title, and then, besides, like, the main one, and now he just seems like he's tacked on everywhere. Like, why would you do that? Is he leaving, or is he doing something else? Like, something else going on there? I don't know, but it just seems like you should have done something different there. It just seems like you guys were pushing him and then you stopped. Why would you stop? He's the underdog. Dolph Ziggler, yeah, great. Love the guy. But Zack Ryder is also an underdog you guys could be pushing on SmackDown. Why aren't you doing that? Why do you insist on putting him down when he is pretty good on the mic? He's a good wrestler, and he works. He works hard. He works every day. Like, just give him a shot. Give him at least the U.S. title or the Intercontinental one. Don't stick him back into a tag team so he can win the tag team titles with Mojo Rawley. Like, that doesn't make any sense, does it? I don't think it does, but maybe it does. I have no idea. We'll see how it turns out. And then we had Alberto Del Rio and Randy Orton. That match was also fantastic. It was long enough, but it was short enough. It was exciting enough, but it had like a few moments where I thought, oh, whoa, you know? They did their moves. You gave Del Rio some real good time to shine, and I think that was great because I don't think that he gets that much spotlight time. I think he should be higher up than he is, but he's not, so I'm not going to get into it right now, but just, you guys should push him more, because he's a good wrestler. His gimmicks is kind of fallen off when you guys put him in that League of Nations and everything, but you guys kind of feel like, and then Rodrigo left, and it just seems like you guys don't know exactly what you should do with him. I understand that, but he's a good wrestler, and he is, I know you guys love to push a race a lot, and he could, I don't know, you guys can do so much more with him. Like, I feel like you guys try and do the same things with Sheamus that you should be doing with the Alberto Del Rio. He is the better wrestler, in my opinion, and he's been everywhere. And, like, he was an MMA fighter. You guys love to push MMA with Brock Lesnar and The Undertaker and all of those people, but you don't push it with Alberto Del Rio. What? I mean, I don't want to say it. I feel like everybody knows what I'm thinking. I'm not gonna say it, but that's what it seems like. You guys, why you guys aren't pushing him, and I just like you guys didn't push. You push Rey Mysterio, but you guys don't push Sin Cara or Kalisto. But let's not get into that right now. And then we had that wonderful stuff with Heath Slater, which I love that. Do not get rid of that. Keep him a free agent as long as you can because it's just great. Between them, the Golden Truth and Breeze Dango is funny. Those are funny segments. I love them. Heath Slater with his kids moving up every time in his pool. It was great. It was hilarious. I loved it, and I think you guys should keep going it. Introduce people that way with him, and I know you guys like banned him from SmackDown or something. I know you guys were gonna give him a contract, but I can't remember if they banned him from Raw or if he's ever gonna be back on there as a free agent. But I'm sure he will, and introduce people like that. So that's how I feel about this week on WWE. I'm gonna move into some new segments that I made here. First, rumors. I wanted to talk about this. I had a question about it, but I'll just move it into this. So Kurt Angle is rumored to come back. I'm not sure if he is. I know him and Triple H have this weird thing. They don't like each other or something, or Triple H doesn't like him or something. But I feel like they're pushing it with the American Alpha thing and the Olympics, and it's been like 20 years for him, and they seem like they're teasing him an awful lot. I'm not sure if I'm reading that wrong. Tell me what you think in the comments, but I think he might come back. I'm not sure. I'd like to see him back. I think he's a good wrestler. He's a good I don't want to say heel because he's not really a heel or a face. He's just kind of like an in-between guy that's like America, but he's pretty good. I like him. He's good on the mic. He's a good wrestler. He's a good technical wrestler, and I love that. But and then another rumor was those Conor McGregor comments that he had made when I talked about it last week. He was people are saying it's an angle, that it's some sort of deal that WWE and UFC were going to get together to do this thing together, and that he kind of blew it, and that it was kind of a work, which I've heard that this is false. This is not true, and things could change. They always do, but if it is true, you got to wonder: am I being worked, or is everybody who's reading all of that stuff being worked, or just the WWE wrestlers, or just Conor McGregor? Who's throwing insults too? What's real and what's not? This is a fact when Kayfabe is not dead, because it's. I have no idea what's going on. I have no idea what's real and what's not, and I like that, but I'm not going to say anything else really about it. But it just seems weird that if it is a work, if it's not, then I mean, what's new, you know? Okay, and then another rumor is Ryback possibly going to New Japan, which I don't know why. I don't like that guy at all, but I'm sure other people do. I don't think he can wrestle, but maybe they can do something with him in Japan. They did it with everybody else. Japan is hot right now. It is great wrestling. You will not probably see better wrestling outside of New Japan than that. So I'm not entirely sure what they're going to do with Ryback, but that's a rumor that he's going there. This one I had written down as a rumor, but it is now changed into a fact. So Damien Sandow has signed with TNA. He will be on there tonight. Today is Thursday the 11th of August. So he will be on there definitely tonight. Look forward to that. I think he's fantastic. I think he's a good wrestler, and he's good on the mic. I know he was doing that whole mimic everybody thing towards his end, and then he was done. But before that, he had this whole like fun holier than thou thing, and I thought that was funny. So uh, Hideo Itami is coming back to NXT this week or soon. I like that guy too. I'll talk more about him later. They have Nakamura now, and I think people think that that's pushing him aside and throwing him somewhere else that he shouldn't be, and I don't know if that's true, but the CM Punk doc trailer is out. So what that is the documentary for CM Punk being a UFC fighter, and that is being released. That has been released. Sorry, it's been released. I haven't seen it yet. I may watch it. I may do a reaction video. I'm not sure yet. I love CM Punk. I really do. I love that guy. He's great on the mic. He's a great wrestler. He was an underdog, got an overdog. He's the whole thing. He's like another Daniel Bryan. Came from ROH. I like him. I like Colt Cabana. Maybe that's why. Maybe that's why I started doing this whole thing. Anywho, and then the last bit of news I have is Joey Styles got released from WWE, and that was a big surprise to me, honestly, because it just seems weird that they would do it. I know they released Steamboat like a year ago, and that was also a big shock and a big weird thing that they did. I'm sure Joey Styles will be fine. He could probably start his own little thing. Probably not wrestling, but maybe like talking. I know people love to hear that guy talk. I love to hear him talk. But he was doing a lot of stuff on there, and he was writing a lot, I think, too. I'm not entirely sure how that went, but I just think that it was weird that they would get rid of him like that. He was kind of a person. It just seems like getting rid of Lawler or some Booker T, someone like that that's been there forever. But that's just me. I don't know. But I mean, they weren't really using him, so maybe he can be better utilized outside of the company. I'm hoping. All right, my next segment is Match of the Week. So this is my favorite match from WWE. Maybe I'll add other wrestlings later, but for now it's WWE. My favorite match this week came down to the Alberto Del Rio and Randy Orton fight on SmackDown and the Cesaro and Rusev fight on Raw. So the winner, it was really close for me, but the winner had to be the Cesaro Rusev one, just because it just seemed, it was kind of a surprise. It was for the title. I really was on the edge of my seat the entire match. It was great entertainment. It was great wrestling, and it was about a 5-star match for me. I would consider it a 5 or a 4-star match. It was great. Everything that they did was wonderful. I loved it. So that is all for this week. I wanted to let everyone know that next week on Saturday, I will be doing a special SummerSlam episode of this. So any SummerSlam questions you have, predictions, whatever, let me know what you think about it, what you're excited for, what questions for me, what I think. I'll give you all my opinions, most of them on Saturday before SummerSlam, with a following video on Monday to vent my reactions, to tell you how I thought everything went, every match. We'll go through it all here. Most of the questions were for SummerSlam or something of the other. I have another question here, anonymously, who I would like to see come back to the WWE, or who I would like to see come to the WWE. So, I'll give one for each. So somebody that I would like to see come back is definitely Kurt Angle. I like that guy. And people that I would love to see come, I'm gonna do two on this. Come to WWE for the first time is the Young Bucks. They are fantastic. If you do not know who these guys are, look them up, because they are great. I think they're either having one or going to have a match with Matt and Jeff Hardy later, or they've had it. I know they had one before, so definitely look that up. I think that's on YouTube somewhere. So after this is over, go ahead and click over there and look. And I'll try and post a link in the description if I can find it. Maybe not. But we'll see. Just wanted to let you know about that. Just keep asking me questions. I'll answer them when I can. Thank you for watching this if you've stuck around this long. And I can't wait until next week to see all of you on Thursday. So join me next Thursday for the Kayfabe Is Dead podcast. Until then, this is Leo Peters, and I am out of here. Not really. This is where I live, but I'm going to leave now from the podcast. So, goodbye, I guess.